Hello and welcome back to Dukascopy TV. You're joining me, Natalie MacDonald, here at the iFXEXPO Asia in coordination with Forex Peace Army and FX Street. Now up next in the studio, I'm joined by Athol Nourse of Synergy FX. Athol, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Natalie.
Okay, so first on our list of topics today is Asia, both a technological and financial hub, home to 2 of the BRICS nations and also half of the world's population. Now, Asia continues to outpace the European economy, but can you talk us through how important Asia is to you as a market, and also how Synergy FX looks to differentiate itself here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, from us, first of all, we think Asia is extremely important. There's a lot of new wealth and new disposable income being generated, and on the back of that, the FX market is benefiting directly from that. In terms of how we approach the Asian market, I mean, first of all, it's a key growth market. We see it going to continue to be growing over the next few years, and we take a very different approach to other brokers. We work very closely with our IBs. We don't do any online marketing, so it's all about hands-on, proactive approach and people skill, really getting to know the IBs and a lot of personal relationships with regards to that. And that's kind of how we differentiate ourselves to the other brokers out there.
In an industry then where contending solutions, tight spreads can equate to market share, who would you say that you fear? Who do you consider to be your biggest competitor?
Well, that's a good question because, first of all, tight spreads to a certain degree doesn't necessarily create market share. We work with a lot of different clients. We work with HFT, algo traders, where obviously things are very spread sensitive. And, you know, we work with IBs in China, where sometimes we get a request of a 5 pip spread and it's classed as normal over there. So in terms of who we fear, I mean, we don't fear anyone. And as far as competitors concerned, I mean, we don't see anyone as a big competitor. The MT4 space is pretty crowded, and, you know, we welcome competition. It's good for the industry, and it's certainly good for the end client as well.
So let's consider then trading platforms for a moment. And in their quarterly report, Forex magnates suggest that MT4 represents approximately 20% of the retail market. Now, as we know, brokers are constantly adding new trading platforms to this playing field. But what are insiders using? Which FX platform do you consider to be growing the most?
Well, I mean, MT4 is still the preferred platform of choice. We see a lot of growing demand on the social platform front. I think it's an attractive value proposition, especially for the Asian market. And there's a couple of new players coming in on the FX front, but they haven't really tapped into the market or really captured the market as of yet.
What are the biggest challenges that you're still facing in terms of attracting new clientele? Have you noted perhaps a change in the trader profile? And if so, then how do you go about both attaining and retaining those clients?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, we work with a lot of IBs and partners in Asia. We're getting a growing traction in Africa as well. The requests that we get from IBs in that region can be very different and compared to the requests that we get in Europe, so to speak. So, you know, the first challenge is coming to grips with that, understanding the client, understanding the IB and accommodating them. In terms of the trader profile, I mean, our trader profile hasn't really changed that much. We work with educators, we work with the HFT algo traders, but what has really changed is the market savviness of the actual retail client. I mean, a few years ago, they weren't aware of A or B book technology or the terms used like that, and now they're just becoming more educated and more aware. And with regards to how we actually attain these clients, we don't do any online marketing. We visit the IBs, we go visit the countries, we understand the cultures, we work very closely with them, and we really take a proactive approach in getting right into the IB's business and actually helping them grow their business. And that is the approach which we take to get the business and to also retain the business, and it's working very well for us at the moment.
Almost then on a similar theme to client savviness as you referred to it, how do you look to handle client complaints and rectify errors? Do you take a very client direct approach or perhaps a more neutral strategy?
We've got a very simple approach. I mean, first and foremost, we've got a very, very highly competent in-house compliance team, and any complaint that we get is dealt with internally. If it's not resolved internally, then it simply gets passed on to the financial ombudsman, and we don't get a lot of complaints, but that's the procedure how we sort of handle our complaints when we do get them.
Athol, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your expertise with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Natalie.
Athol Nourse there of Synergy FX. Don't go away, we've still got plenty more industry leaders here at the iFXEXPO Asia. For now though, it's goodbye from me.